No one and nothing will affect you again. Carl Jung. If the key to unwavering calm is not managing the world around you, but dominating the world within you. Imagine a life in which no external event, person, or condition could disrupt your inner peace. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? However, this is not a pipe dream reserved for monks or mystics. It's a reality within your grasp. The reality is, you've been looking for tranquility in the wrong places. You've been told that serenity comes from success, approbation, or avoiding pain. But what if serenity has always existed within you, ready to be discovered? What if the turmoil you experience is not a reflection of the environment, but of your own mind? You do not have tranquility. You haven't had it in a long time, despite your best efforts to pretend otherwise. You're caught in a vicious loop of unmanageable thoughts, overwhelming emotions, and an enduring emptiness that you can't quite describe. And the worst part, you have come to accept that this is usual. You've been led to believe that peace is a luxury reserved for the enlightened few, leaving you destined to an ongoing internal battle. But that is a falsehood. Inner serenity is not an unreachable goal. It's not about perfection, calmness, or a lack of conflict. It all comes down to how you interpret your surroundings. Because reality, no matter how solid it appears, is simply a projection of what is going on inside you. Think about it. Two people can witness the identical occurrence, but one is heartbroken while the other remains unaffected. Why? It doesn't matter what happens to you. It is how you understand it. Years of beliefs, wounds, and unconscious behaviors have shaped your mind, which functions as a filter. Carl Jung expressed it perfectly. Until you make the unconscious awake, it will govern your life under the name fate. You are a captive of your mental programming. Since childhood, you've absorbed ideas, anxieties, and reactions that you now claim are your own. But they aren't. They were placed upon you by your parents, society, and the events that shaped you. And when you respond without thinking, when fear, anger, or grief take over, you are not truly yourself. It's the wounded child within you that still has control. The question is, how long will you let that child control your life? Most people never question this. They exist on autopilot, repeating the same patterns, making the same mistakes, and experiencing the same anguish over and over. They regard life as a collection of uncontrollable events, and as long as they do, they will be trapped. True freedom does not imply having control over your circumstances. It's all about controlling how you react to it. And it is when unwavering peace begins. It is not about rejecting your emotions or suppressing your thoughts. It's about observing without allowing them to define you. Because you aren't your mind. You are not the voice in your head that haunts you. You are the one who listens, observes, and is the source of all consciousness. And as long as you believe you are every idea that comes to mind, you will be vulnerable to turmoil. The secret is not to get rid of unpleasant feelings, but to quit resisting them. When you resist, you are giving them power. When you accept them, they loosen their grip. Imagine your mind as a river. If you try to halt the current, you will exhaust yourself. You will realize you are never in the water. You are the spectator on the coast. That is actual power. Inner serenity does not imply that the world is faultless. It is about nothing external having the ability to throw you off balance. To accomplish this, one can revisit old scars or anticipate future concerns. This moment is all that exists. The mind will try to pull you away, bombarding you with doubts and stories. And if you can understand the mind as a tool rather than an identity, emotional freedom is the only sort that actually matters. The Stoics realized this. It is not what occurs to you, but how you react to it. That is the difference between agony and peace. If you genuinely understand the difference between being a victim, you will realize that no one and nothing can take your cause away from you. It is inside you. You only need to claim it. So, will you let the noise of the outside control your inner state? Or are you going to assume control? But here's something no one tells you. True serenity is more than just how you perceive yourself. And this is where the majority of people fail. Everyone wants peace, but few are ready to strive for it. Your peace? Distraction. And I'm not simply referring to social media or external noise. I'm talking about internal distraction and excitement. Because quiet allows the truth to emerge. Prepare to face the reality about who you are, as well as whatever concerns you may still be harboring. They keep themselves occupied with noise, busyness, and constant action. Because when the world becomes silent, their demons begin to speak. Here is the secret. The only way to attain true serenity is to face the stillness. Inner peace does not mean the absence of strife. It's the ability to stay calm in the middle of chaos. Look within without fear. Unfortunately, we live in a society that discourages reflection. Everything is intended to keep you occupied. Consumerism, the desire for approval, and the fixation with staying busy. It's a trap designed to keep you sleepy. Because true power comes from never thinking about oneself. And this is when something you know comes into play. If you want absolute tranquility, you must learn to let go. Not just grudges or past grief, but also vexations. That is the root of suffering, resistance to what is. Most individuals are always battling with reality. They prefer things to be different. They want individuals to act according to their expectations and aspirations. When it doesn't, they feel pain, frustration, or sadness. However, reality does not care what you wish. The idea is to accept what you can't change and focus on what you can. Your perception, reaction, and internal condition. That is actual power. When you cease being a victim of your circumstances, you'll truly be free. However, letting go is not simple. A radical alteration in how you perceive life. You must recognize that attachment to anything external is a chain you have put around yourself. You will never be at peace as long as you are dependent on what happens outside of you. So, will you let go? Are you ready to let go of the illusion of control and embrace life as it is? Because it is the only way to set oneself free. And here's where everything comes together. Inner tranquility, detachment, and perception. It represents who you are, not your desires. If there is confusion within you, you will notice chaos everywhere. If you are tranquil inside, nothing can disturb you on the exterior. It is not in better circumstances. It is in how you choose to perceive what occurs. That is why the true question isn't how to achieve peace. It is this. Are you ready to stop resisting life and instead live in harmony with it? Realize that something amazing you've been looking for outside has always been inside you. You simply had to remove whatever was blocking it. The true test of inner peace is not calm. When things are going well, anyone can feel at ease. But true peace is achieved when everything around you falls apart. And this is where the majority of people fail. They believe that peace comes from improving their relationships, achieving their goals, or earning more money. They believe that if the outside world matches their desires, they will finally feel at ease. But that is the fatal mistake. Because as long as your peace is dependent on something other than you, it will never truly be yours. There will always be something the world can take away. This is where resilience comes in. Resilience is more than just the ability to endure pain. It is about turning it into growth. It is about using even the darkest moments to grow stronger, wiser, and freer. People who have attained unshakable peace. What have they got in common? They have not led easy lives. They've been through adversity, pain, and challenges. Instead of allowing those experiences to destroy them, they use them to propel themselves forward. This is the difference between sinking and rising. What you do about your pain. Trying to avoid suffering does not lead to peace. It is discovered by altering your interaction with it. Life will hurt you. Pain is unavoidable. However, how you interpret suffering makes a difference. If something hurts, you have two options. Allow it to define you, or use it to advance. Most people allow pain to trap them in resentment, victimhood, or nostalgia. However, those who understand life convert pain into fuel. They use it to grow as people, to become resilient in the face of adversity. Look at nature. A forest needs fire to regenerate. Coal requires pressure to become a diamond. What hurts you today may strengthen you tomorrow, if you choose to see it that way. If you ask the right question, how can I use this to advance? And here's the most powerful part. When you start seeing life this way, everything changes. You stop fearing pain. You stop resisting what happens because you know that no matter what, you can turn it into something valuable. When you no longer fear losing anything, when you know that even in the worst storm, you can find strength, that's when you achieve true peace. But there's one obstacle. You've been told you are a certain way. That your past, your story, your labels define you. That's the question that terrifies most people. That's why they keep reliving the same patterns. Eve prefers the known, even if the known is suffering. To achieve unshakable peace, you must be willing to die. Not physically, but psychologically. You must let go of the version of you that's trapped in the past. Hold yourself about who you are and open up to the possibility of being someone new. The ego hates uncertainty. But in that uncertainty lies freedom. When you stop clinging to a fixed identity, you stop reacting automatically. You stop living with the same fears, the same patterns, the same limits. You become flexible, adaptable, unshakable. That's the true revolution. It's not about controlling life, but about flowing with it without losing yourself. Because life isn't a battle to win. Are you ready to let go of the story that traps you? Are you ready to stop seeing pain as an enemy and start using it as a tool? Think of suffering and unquestion that matter. Are you going to keep running from yourself? Or are you finally going to face what's inside and reclaim the power that's always been yours? There's a trap almost everyone falls into on the path to peace. The obsession with control. They can control their emotions, thoughts, and reactions. That if they can control others, circumstances, or the future, nothing will shake them. The more you try to control, the more you suffer. Because control is an illusion. Life doesn't follow your script. People won't act as you expect. Things won't always go your way. And the sooner you accept that, the closer you'll be to peace. Most people live in constant tension, misunderstood, always resisting, always trying to anticipate what's coming. The sooner you understand that, true peace isn't about controlling life. It's about trusting that you can handle whatever comes. It's a subtle shift, but it changes everything. You stop clinging to the idea that everything must go your way. Instead, you develop an inner certainty. No matter what happens, I'll find a way to stand. But there's something working against you. The fear of uncertainty. The fear of not knowing what's coming. And that's what keeps you trapped in the illusion of control. You think that if you plan enough, analyze every possibility, and prepare for every scenario, you'll be safe. but you're never safe. Life will always surprise you. And the more you resist that, the more you suffer quite uncertainty. But to learn to be comfortable in it, the Stoics realized this. What disturbs men are not things but the interpretations they give to them. The fear of the unknown comes from the stories you tell yourself about what could happen. It's your mind creating problems that don't exist. But if you accept uncertainty, everything changes. Because uncertainty isn't the enemy. It's the space where possibilities are born. Think about the best moments of your life. The greatest experiences, the deepest lessons, the most profound changes happen in the unexpected. Because that's where real peace lies. Not in controlling every detail, but in trusting your ability to adapt. Self-confidence isn't built overnight. And that's where your internal dialogue comes in. What good is accepting uncertainty if your own mind is your enemy? How can you find serenity if every thought is an attack on yourself? Most individuals underestimate the power of their inner voice. They don't know that what they tell themselves becomes their reality. Your inner conversation is filled of criticism, doubt, and negativity. You'll constantly be at battle with yourself. If every mistake feels like an attack on your worth, you'll never experience tranquility. If every failure is handled with self-punishment instead of learning, every negative notion is believed as reality instead of questioned, you'll remain trapped. The voice in your head isn't the truth. It's an echo of your beliefs, your past, and your future. You can adjust it and train your mind to work for you, not against you. Everything changes. Because true peace isn't only the absence of external strife, it's learning to live in peace with yourself, the highest strength you can accomplish. So, what does all this mean? Peace isn't something you find. It's something you construct, choice by decision. It's the effect of what you allow in your thinking. You can now pick how to interpret what happened. People continue to hunt for answers outside, when the answers have always been inside. The only change that is important is the one within. Here is the truth. Nobody is coming to save you. No expert, book, or movie will complete the task for you. Finding serenity has always been in your hands. The distinction between those who suffer and those who find serenity is not due to luck or circumstance. How people interpret their experiences and what they decide to believe about themselves. So the fundamental question isn't whether you can make peace. The question arises because achieving inner calm needs work. It means confronting yourself, evaluating your ideas, accepting the now, and putting an end to your dread of the future at a cost. They like to stay in their comfort zone, even if it means remaining at odds with themselves. But if you've got this far and are still listening, you understand that there is another way to live. You understand that true freedom cannot be found outside of yourself. Here is the challenge. You can continue to let the environment dictate your emotions, react to everything around you, and become a victim of your own thoughts. Alternatively, you can start changing. Step by step, you choose to let go instead of clinging, to question instead of respond, and to watch rather than identify. You are creating the tranquility you have been looking for. And the good news is, right now, peace is not in the future, it is in the way you choose to live right now. So, what do you choose? If this video touched you, write a comment with this phrase: I prefer peace.